Hello trainers, Ganeto here, and today we're diving together into Open Ultra League with a team that got me a pretty easy 10-0 before I reached my yellow on Ultra League. So we're looking at a pretty strong team at a line that is using an ABA team style but still is not weak to grass types, because the second water type that we have at the back can definitely take over those grass types as well. So we're leading with our new Icy Wind Poliwrath into play, and of course at the back we have the rank 1 Charizard, which I really love for my Ultra League battles, especially at the back, either as a pivot or as a closer. And of course, as our safe switch for this particular team, I recommend going with Golisopod because this Pokemon feels much safer than ever. Also, what I like about Poliwrath with Icy Wind is that now you can still beat down the Dragon types, as you can see here for the first battles, but of course we're gonna fall short because my opponent actually used a shield while I didn't, and that is a big win as well. Now that we have our Exoskeletor Pokemon coming into the battle, those Leaf Blades can easily be blocked and still guarantee the knockout with the second Aerial Ace. I recommend going with Aerial Ace over that X-Scissor because, as you're gonna see in a while, you definitely need that move for Poliwrath, especially if it is up against you, and perhaps you will struggle a little bit against Dark types and of course Cresselia, but still overall the other two Pokemon can somehow make up for those weaknesses respectively. So let's see what is going on here, because the first battle is about to end now. And we're having Greninja coming in pretty strong up against my Charizard, but still we can outspeed to the Aerial Ace and finish off the remaining HP that this Shiny Flex Pokemon is having. And of course, with Virizion remaining at the back, we have nothing to worry about, because from this range, and of course this is Ultra League after all, we can definitely survive one Leaf Blade with this and still guarantee the victory with that final Aerial Ace. Into the next battle now, and we're having Golisopod on the lead. This is why you need Aerial Ace on your Golisopod. What I want to do here is to stay in with my Poliwrath, even take an Aerial Ace if my opponent throws it, because I want to test their limits. I want to see what their moveset might be, and since now they do not even have Aerial Ace, I'm just gonna stay in a little bit longer, charge up to the point that I have an Icy Wind at least ready to go, and then after they throw the energy, I'm just gonna switch out to my own Golisopod. We can take now whatever move they throw, I'm pretty sure about it, and on the switch we are meeting up with that Clown Face Pokemon. So let's get now to our Liquidation to deal massive damage on that fire type. This is why I love using my Golisopod on Open Ultra League, and at the same time here all we have to do is to block once and completely farm down, getting out of here with a little bit of HP but still with a massive amount of energy, at least one Liquidation worth of it. And now the Liquidation is gonna do so much damage on that poor flyer, which tends to be a Charizard. Guess what? We're having now the upper hand because I'm trying to snipe it down with my Scald, but my opponent knows better, and of course they're gonna get there first with that Golisopod. It doesn't matter, the battle is definitely not over yet, and if we can block here, we can still guarantee another Scald on that Charizard. Let's get trainers, look at the damage output. We're not even gonna show them our Charizard, and we're gonna get that victory pretty easily with Poliwrath being turned from a leader into a closer. As you can see here, we have another bad lead following up, so overall I really like the bad leads to be showcased on my channel because they can show a better example of this team on the worst and the most difficult scenarios that you can get out there in Ultra League and therefore go Battle League. So that's why I'm having all those bad leads against my Poliwrath. They are not back to back, but still they make a lot of sense, and the 10-0 was not that easy to make. Okay, so here comes now Cresselia on the switch. Now we're meeting up with the Swampert, and of course this Hydrocan will put us out of our misery, but to be fair, I'm pretty fine with that, because now with that Swampert out of the way, perhaps they have no other clear answer for my Charizard for the long term and the end game of this battle. So here comes now Skull to put that Cresselia as low as possible. Then I'm trying to catch the Grass Knot on my Charizard, but my opponent knows much better. So here comes now the Blast Burn to obliterate down the damage output on that Steel Steelix, and of course now they will apply the debuff with that Breaking Swipe. It doesn't matter, we still have a lot to offer here with another Blast Burn. They are not gonna fall for it, just gonna block, and immediately right after they have another Breaking Swipe. They are gonna apply another debuff, it is like it was never nerfed to be fair, and another Breaking Swipe is coming through. Will they apply the debuff once again? No, they're not. Lucky us, right? So I'm just gonna block here because I want to reach to the Scald, and even if they outspeed now to the next move, I can still guarantee that I can knock out this Pokemon with this by over farming a little bit in the process now that our energy dry. So here comes now the Blast Burn to finish off Cresselia, and another one to finish off Steelix. Let's get that sweet victory. That was super close to fainting, but we're just gonna finish them off in return. Another bad lead, this time against Jellicent, and of course we need to kinda stay in, try to debuff this Pokemon, and after the first debuff I know that we can survive two of those Shadow Balls. What I want to do at this point is to charge up to my next charge attack as soon as they get to their Shadow Ball, get the move on my Poliwrath since I have very good IVs as you can see here, and of course we can survive the move and now switch out to my Golisopod. So Golisopod now is just gonna have a fair and square fight with RLAs against this Pokemon, and since they're getting pretty low on the red section of that HP bar, we're just gonna be just fine even with Charizard up against that Pokemon. So now they have a Charizard of their own at the back. This Pokemon is pretty good obviously, and Dragon Claw can easily be taken. I'm just gonna take the risk here, and of course that's why I did not shield at all, but the liquidation in return cannot be blocked by my opponent, otherwise they're gonna be down with 0 shields, and right after we're just gonna get farmed down with that Surfetch. So here comes now Scald to do a lot of damage on their end, so they have to sacrifice their final shield. This team is pretty good at pressuring down the opponent, and now my Charizard will just emerge into the battle. So as you can see here, now they're just gonna switch out to their Jellicent. We already pressed now the Dragon Claw, which is pretty great for us. They're trying to catch and at the same time throw the Surf. It worked for them, but not that much, because now with Surfetch returning into the battle, I know that they cannot reach the Brave Bird at all, and we can easily farm down with that final Wing attack. Into the next battle now, and we're having Poliwrath on the mirror. So whatever we throw here is gonna be absolutely not very effective while they have Power Up Punch. But this is what I enjoy about this team and Golisopod as a switch with RLAs. All we have to do here is to make them Power Up Punch twice. They're gonna just stay in here as it seems, and then they reveal that they have Ice Punch. Almost no damage at all, because Golisopod is just gonna wall down all those fighters, and especially Poliwrath, which is gonna be kinda around on that Ultra League format. So Power Up Punch once again, I'm pretty sure we can outspeed and win that CMP to the race of the next charge attack. So here comes RLAs to finish them off. Poliwrath now fell down, and they also sacrificed the shield in the process, while we still have liquidation for whatever Pokemon might follow. It is gonna be Obstagoon, and of course we have a lot of energy to spare, and I'm just gonna bring my Poliwrath into play since those counters are gonna be double super effective, and especially with the defensive debuff we are looking pretty good. Escavalier now at the back, just gonna throw the Scald and then switch out to my Charizard. I know that whatever they throw here can easily be taken, especially when you have a rank 1 Charizard, and we're just gonna farm down in the process. However, they throw here Acid Spray, and makes me think that if that is gonna be a Drillern, this is gonna hurt a lot. However, it is another Acid Spray, but it doesn't matter because we have 2 shields to flex here, and of course with a couple of Blast Burns, we're just gonna take this victory eventually. My opponent will not even care, and yeah, they're just gonna go down to that amazing damage output that my team is having. So into the next battle, and we're having Ampharos on the lead. So this Pokemon is another troublesome and another troublemaker for my team, and especially with Trailblaze. Look at that, but in return we can easily debuff this Pokemon with those Ice Winds. So here comes now another move from their end. This time the Brutal Swing. I was expecting it, to be honest. Revealing that Trailblaze makes me think that Thunder Punch is not gonna be in the picture, so the short move that they're gonna throw is gonna be definitely something like a brutal swing. So now on the Switch, we're having a battle against an Hisuian. Actually, not an Hisuian. What is this? I think it's Hisuian. Samurott. Anyways, it is a starter. But overall, I was not prepared at all for it. I was just assuming that they're having Icy Wind, a Razor Cell, and my guess was correct. I know that the regular one can learn something like a Mega Horn, but as it seems this one cannot, or this opponent hasn't learned it at all. So here comes now another move, another Icy Wind. I know I can survive pretty much anything, and if that is gonna be an Night Slash, that can also be taken by my Colisobot. As you can see on the entirety of this video, I'm using Colisobot as a punching bag and it can take the hits. To my surprise, this Pokemon is not that classy in Ultra League. And of course, right after, with the Blast Burn, we can just succeed in gaining this victory against our opponent. What a great battle that was. So Poliwrath now against the world, and of course we're having another Ghost type up against us. You might be thinking, Ganeto, this is a Fire type after all, but still they can learn the move Disarming Voice, which is not gonna one-shot us down or anything, but still is gonna do a lot of damage, while our counters are not gonna do a lot of work up against that Ghost typing. So anyways, we managed to get at least a shield out of them, which is pretty good for us on the Switch, and now they have an Articuno. Let's see what their moveset might be, because I know that this Pokemon now can learn both an Icy Wind and Triple Axle in combination with something like a Hurricane or Ancient Power. Seeing the Ancient Power makes me think that whatever else that second move might be, it cannot be a Hurricane. It has to be either an Icy Wind or a Triple Axle, so I can easily farm down here with my Poliwrath all that energy without getting the threat of getting destroyed by this Pokemon. So able to do a few counters here before they reach to their next one. It is just the Ancient Power, and they're just gonna get the boost, which makes no sense at all. At the back they have Venusaur, and now in combination with Skeledirge we are looking just fine, especially when we're having a shield into play. So Disarming Voice here will do almost nothing, and we're just gonna keep going at it with a Blast Burn on the Skeledirge. Let's see if we can farm down. Of course we can, trainers, and right after we're gonna follow with a Heavy Nuke and the Blaster, but unfortunately for us they just left the building, and we're just gonna take this victory eventually with that final outburst. So that is gonna be all for today, trainers, completing here my 10-0 run, and of course just be sure to leave a like before you go. Subscribe to the channel if you already haven't, and to be fair, I have no clue what you're doing all this time, because more than 70% of you haven't subscribed yet, and that is kind of a big bummer. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you all into the next one.